We are here with Merv Livsey at the Highland Falls Senior Citizen Center to talk about the upcoming election. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mary Jane.
I just want to start by letting you introduce yourself and tell me why you're running.
Okay, my name is Mervin R. Livsey Jr., and I'm a long life resident of here in the Highlands. One of the reasons that I'm running, this probably started, a few years back. I joined a 4th of July committee, and my interest sort of started there. Now I'm going back probably about 25 years ago when I got invited to the parade, to march in the parade and all of that. And I had an interest of it. They were talking about the government and what's going on in the community. And I started to get involved with other activities and organizations in the community. And the more I got involved with the organizations and the committees, I had an interest in the government of what was going on. So around probably, I'm gonna think, about 18 years ago was my first election, and I ran for town council on the town board. I had an interest in running for the town of Islands, and I lost. I lost my election, my first election. But you know, I was a newcomer. People knew who I was. Perhaps, who knows what happened, but I lost, and I didn't give up. I said to myself, you know what? I'll be back in 4 years. I came back in 4 years, and I ran again, and I won. And I was on the town board. I served also as deputy supervisor. I served with 3 different supervisors at that time. I enjoyed myself. I was a liaison at departments, and my interest really got high that, hey, I'm doing something and I'm helping for the community here. Our community here in the town of Highlands, which is Fort Montgomery and Highland Falls, we have issues, and we have a lot of good things going on in this community. What I did was, after my election that I had after 4 years, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go on to the village or if I wanted to continue on with the town. I decided that, you know what, I'm living in Highland Falls, let me run for the village election. It went very well, the election, except for one thing. That election I lost by 1 vote. I lost by 1 vote during that election, but that didn't put me down. I said to myself, I'll be back. And what I did, I really had an interest of what was going on in the village of Highland Falls. At that time, there was a lot of projects going on. I wanted to make sure, as myself being a taxpayer, that we're getting a fair shake of everything. And what I did after that was I ran again my election, which was 4 years ago, and I won. During my 4 years right now on the village board, we've done a lot of progress, in my opinion. Infrastructure, activities for the children, we're working on that right now. There's a lot of projects going on inside the village. We're trying to work right now with the town on some of the projects that we have. So we're moving forward right now. We do have one thing that's not helping us, and that's the COVID. But we'll get past that. You know, we're moving along. They have, vaccines that are out there. So I keep high hopes, and I think we're going to be okay.
I think so too. Through the hard work of our boards, our municipal boards at all levels. Merv, talking about COVID, that's an automatic no-brainer when you say, what's one of our biggest challenges right now? What do you see as some of our other challenges?
I think some of the other challenges in the community, and I'm strictly talking right now about the village of Highland Falls, I think there's people that really need to understand government more than they do. I think they should maybe stay away from the hearsay, and they should make more meetings. Now, for myself, in the 4 years that I've been on the board, let's put the COVID to the side before this happened. You know, as a board member, I would be amazed by looking out there at times, and not one resident is at a board meeting. And we had a lot of big things going on. We had zoning, we had all kind of projects going on. But what I think a lot of the people in the community, they need to get involved more. Come to the meetings. You know, ask your board members what's going on. Set up a meeting with us. I would be more than happy to meet with anybody in this community and talk about all kind of different, topics that we have here right now. But again, to stay on and listen on Facebook and other things like that, that's the wrong channel. That's not the place to go to.
Do you think that the accessibility of Village Hall is a little bit of a problem, people getting to meetings?
Well, I think that, yes, because there is no elevator
Right.
in the Village Hall, which absolutely some of our seniors need that elevator to
Right.
get in there. But we do have different kind of accommodations. This, for instance, right here, that we have the community center, which I gotta tell you something, I'm excited about what's going on with Aaron Falk. This is gonna be a big hit, but we won't talk about that right now. But
It's a great space.
But we will make that happen. We will make it work. Anybody and everybody, no matter what they need, if they need a ride, no matter what it is, and they have an interest in coming to a board meeting, we're gonna make that happen for them. So the accessibility of somebody coming to a board meeting is there. For the Village Hall itself, it's got its hiccups, absolutely.
Sure. Talk about Main Street for a minute. What can the village board do to help Main Street, help the businessmen on Main Street?
Well, right now, currently, me and Mary Jo are working with DOT. We're trying to get proper signage on the 9W, and that signage would be, so in other words, you're driving past the exits for Highland Falls. If you've never been to this area before, you have no idea there's a main street and there's eateries, there's shops, there's everything else, there's a supermarket, all 1 mile down the road off of that exit. We're trying to work with DOT right now to get signage out there on 9W that's gonna sort of entertain that person to going and making that turn and saying, wait a minute, we got restaurants this way. I would like to push that. I would like to get a much better kiosk. I would also like to look for something that, with help from West Point, now West Point has a souvenir shop, they have a gift shop. I would like to have some sort of welcome center here on Main Street, something where Stella Bailey, our historian, can have all of her stuff in there at a ground level where people come in, they can look at the history of the village, the town of Highlands, because in the historian's office, it is all town of Highlands in there. But I think that would be really nice for tourists to come around and see something like that, to walk in, to be able to look at brochures of businesses that we have here, to look at the history of the community that's here. With what we have on Main Street, we have the Memorial Park. I would like to see possibly weekly entertainment going on down there. You know, again, we have the COVID here, but we're practicing on how to do, we got to get out of the cave. We cannot live in a cave like this. We have to get out of the cave and be able to say, you know what, we have things that we could do to keep ourselves safe, so we could be able to do things like this. The ice cream shop is here, there's eateries, and for these people to say, hey, we got everything here, we don't need to go out of town. That's what I'm going to push on getting. But it's the people that are on 9W. I really, really appreciate the local people and the local support of our businesses here right now. But people have to really understand that the businesses, coming from a business family, we took a hit that hurt. It hurt. So for the local people coming here, thank you very much. But for the people that are passing the community, we want to be a magnet to try to get them in here and say, you know what, we're going to make up for last year. That's my goal. That's my priority right now on Main Street.
Not only the local support, but out-of-town support.
Out-of-town support too. Think about this. Think about how many people pass these exits here during the summertime to go up to the overlook, which the Cornwall police had to go up there and keep moving them on because there was no place to go.
Right.
So wouldn't that be nice if those people came into here on Main Street and said, hey, we could walk around here for the day? That would be beautiful.
That would be great. Talk to me a little bit about consolidation, Merv, that you're in the midst with the village board of kind of looking at a new police study. Where do you think it's going to go?
Well, I think right now consolidation, you know, and I've always thought that consolidation is a home run, okay? It's a home run if you could get it to work in the right way for the taxpayer. It has to be fair. People, you know, consolidation is not saying at a board meeting, we're going to consolidate, let me get some votes on that, and now you're consolidated. It's far from that. You have to be ready for consolidation. You have to be ready with the town for
Both boards,
consolidation.
correct.
You have to be ready financially, accountability. You have to be ready for equipment-wise. You have to be ready to say to yourself, okay, wait a minute, savings, lost, expenses, where are we with all of this? And like I said at the board meeting, I've been to a handful of consolidation meetings. They all get to one point, and then you say to yourself after that, that's just not gonna work out for this or that. Consolidation goes into the town A fund. People have to understand that. Again, you have to be able to be involved. You have to be able to go to the meetings, which there's many of them, to really understand what's going on. Don't learn this from hearing Facebook or what's going on with that. We have to consolidate. I would love to consolidate. If it works out, if we don't lose any services, I'm gonna use the police department, for instance, okay? The police department has to be, for the safety of the residents, a strong department. In the town and in the village, it has to be a strong department. We cannot cut out of the police department, because when you cut out of the police department, then you get this thing called overtime from the other police officers. You have to keep at a certain level where there's coverage. So how to do that between the town and the village, we had discussions on this, but it still hasn't met a number where it'd be fair to the taxpayers. We're almost there. I don't want anybody to think that, hey, we can't do this consolidation, or hey, we're not doing it right. We want to do it perfect. We want to make sure if consolidation happens, and if you were at the meeting, Mary Jane, I said to the gentleman that was there, let me ask you, how many places in the state of New York have consolidated?
Yes.
And his answer to that was not many.
Right,
The reason not many is because it did not hit the nail on the head.
right.
But I'm going to try my hardest on this.
Safety first.
Safety first. And I'll just let you know another thing on that. When we talk about the emergency services, such as the ambulance corps, that is a big safety issue. That has to be, there's no consolidating with the ambulance corps. There's no, let's join the ambulance corps with something. The ambulance corps is absolutely 100% has to be safety first. And they have to be able to work with those police officers in case of whatever the call should be. But they got to remember, when you place that call, when you place that 911 call, it's 4 minutes, and that's it.
We're very lucky to have great volunteers in our ambulance corps, like yourself.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that.
We have about 2 minutes left, Merv. Talk to me about your running mates.
Well, my running mates is current Mayor Joseph D'Onofrio, myself, Brian Alward, which is on there. He's not a running mate, but he's on the board.
Sure.
My other running mate is Enoch Brown.
Right.
I would look at us right now as experienced. We have a lot of knowledge. We try to do everything that we're doing right now professional. We don't just look at something and make a decision on it. We want to research it. We want to review it. Some people may get a little bit, why didn't they just go for it? We don't want to do that. You'll hear sometimes at the board a lot of nays. You'll hear a lot of ayes. There may be mixed feelings. And I will say this for Mr. James Ramus and Mr. DeSalvo. I personally think as a village board whole, I think we've accomplished a lot of progress. I think we've moved forward. I would never throw mud at my opponents. I think it's actually something else that the community right now, we have all of these people that are coming out. I would say that I think some of the opponents should make a board meeting, to come to a board meeting. I'm not, I just think that would be of their best interest, just to see how it goes. But I really think in this community, for people getting involved during a COVID, where you would expect somebody to say, I don't want to do this now. We have 6 candidates for the trustee position, correct? 6 candidates.
6 for 2 seats.
6 candidates and 5 people for the seat of mayor. Now that's something else if you think about it. That is something else. But I just want everybody to know out there that for myself, I do this for the people. I do this for the people, I work for the people. There's no spotlight on Merv Livsey, and I just want to tell you this, I know I'm probably running out of time. A big thing for me in this community is to make sure that that younger youth, when they grow older, they have a great place here. I want to make sure that, and I want to make sure that the seniors of this community, you know, they're well-deserved to be able to have a great place for their roots here in the village of Howland Falls. And that's a big concern of mine, and it's got to continue on that we think about that all.
That's great. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.